What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. Today, I'm going to be showing off a wild Cramorant V Mew deck. It can use Spit Shot for just one energy, taking huge knockouts wherever you want on your opponent's side of the field for just one double colorless energy. It's a crazy deck, originally piloted by Frank Persick to a top 16 finish at the Collinsville Regional Championships. We've revamped it with scoop up nets and shamans, and it's just a wild deck. Let's take a look. Now, I've really taken some liberties with Frank's original list, but the concept of the deck that Frank played at Collinsville is really strong. You're using Mew from Fates Collide with that Memories of Dawn ability, which reads, this Pokemon can use the attacks of any of your basic Pokemon in play. So Mew just copies any of the attacks of your bench Pokemon, and what's so powerful about copying attacks with Mew is that you can combo it with Dimension Valley, which is basically like a Thunder Mountain Prism Star, except it's not a Prism Star, so you can play 4 of them, and it's for Psychic Pokemon, except instead of making the attacks cost 1 lightning less like a Thunder Mountain Prism Star does, it makes your attacks cost 1 colorless less, which has a bunch of different implications, and it has a bunch of different applications. This card has been very good ever since it was printed in Phantom Forces, and is still good today in this Cramorant Mew deck. First card that comes to mind, Cramorant V with that Spit Shot attack. You discard all energy from this Pokemon and it does 160 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Doesn't matter if it's on the bench, in the active position, whatever. Mew can copy that attack for just 1 double colorless energy or 1 twin energy, whichever you prefer. We've got 4 DCE and 2 twin energy in the deck with the Dimension Valley in play, which is awesome, meaning on the first turn of the game, going second, you just find a Dimension Valley, find a double colorless energy, Mew in the active, Cramorant V on the bench, and you can Spit Shot 160 damage wherever you want. And 160 damage is super relevant because Dedenne GX has 160 HP, Shaymin EX only has 110 HP. Those are 2 of the most popular cards in expanded format right now. And even if your opponent's Pokemon has 170 HP, you want to be able to ping it for knockout with a Spit Shot, we have got the Galarian Zigzagoon in the deck with that Headbutt Tantrum ability. So you can fix math wherever you want. And one of my favorite ways to fix math with this deck is for Blackray GX. And Blackray GX is absolutely insane. If your opponent ever puts 2 Shaymin EX on the bench, you basically just win the game. They put 2 Shaymin EX down, you can just Blackray GX for 1 energy. Just slap a DCE onto your Mew. You could even just attack with the Necrozma GX if you want to. And if you've got a Dimension Valley in play, you could Blackray GX for just 1 energy. Blackray GX deals 100 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon GX and EX. And even though Shaymin EX has 110 HP, we have got Galarian Zigzagoon. So all you need is 1 scoop up net and 1 Galarian Zigzagoon. You just put the Zigzagoon down, ping 10 to 1 Shaymin, scoop it up, ping 10 to the second Shaymin, Blackray GX for 4 prizes. It's a crazy combination. Then to round out the cast, we've got Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff GX, whose Jumping Balloon does a ton of damage if your opponent is playing a deck like Pikarom or playing a deck like Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX or Turbo Dark, a deck that plays a lot of Pokemon GX, has Shaymins, Dedennes, Darkrai, whatever on the bench. Jumping Balloon can just ramp up and take huge knockouts very quickly. And of course, Mew can copy that for just 1 energy with Dimension Valley in play, since Jumping Balloon conveniently costs 3 colorless energy. And one of my favorite parts about this deck is that you can actually cheese numbers when you're using that Jumping Balloon attack with Target Whistle, bringing something out of the discard pile. If your opponent has maybe paired their bench in a way they're like, okay, I know that they can only deal this much damage. With Jumping Balloon, you can actually just Target Whistle, bring up a Pokemon EX or GX that they weren't expecting out of the discard pile, and then Jumping Balloon for big one-hit knockouts, copying your attacks with the Mew. And then the final attacker in the deck is Dubwool V with a Revenge Blast attack, which can really add up at the end of the game. If your opponent has taken 4 prizes, it means that you're going to be dealing, what, 240 damage for just 1 energy. That's pretty strong. And then if your opponent's taken 5 prizes, it means you're going to be dealing that magic number 270. So Dubwool V is an excellent closer. Another card that we could play in the deck instead of Dubwool V is that Clefairy that we were playing in the Bird deck, the Clefairy from Evolutions. I really like this card as well. I'm back and forth between Clefairy and the Double V. I do think that you probably need to play the Clefairy in the deck for that metronome attack because it's very good against Zacian V. The rest of this deck is not super powerful against Zacian. Black Ray GX only does damage to GXs and EXs. Jumping Balloon only, does more damage for EXs and GXs, and then Cramorant V only does 160 damage. So Zacian V kind of doesn't really mind any of those attackers, but Zacian V very much does not like its Brave Blade attack being copied with Clefairy for just 1 energy. So I think between Double V and Clefairy, make your decision there about what you ultimately want. I think that I'll probably keep the Clefairy in the deck myself. I haven't actually used Double V yet, but it's cool. It's a new card. I kind of wanted to show it off real quick, but probably play the Clefairy instead. I think the Clefairy is very good. You could also play the Oranguru in this deck with Instruct to allow yourself to draw out of late game ends. I think that that's probably a powerful card as well. And as you can see with the rest of the list, we've really just turboed it out, and I love this. I mean, this is like my favorite stuff to play in expanded format. We've got 4 Quick Balls, we've got 4 Ultra Balls, we've got 3 Shaman EX, and the 4 Scoop Up Nets, meaning that we could just reuse that Shaman EX, dig for our turn 1 stadiums, dig for our turn 1 energy, find those cards that we need, spit shot wherever you want on your opponent's side of the field. Guzma and Hala is really incredible in this deck as well because it allows you to get Float Stone, allows you to get Dimension Valley, and it allows you to get that special energy to attack all with 1 card. So this is the perfect deck to play Guzma and Hala in. We also have Teammates in the deck so that we can go get any 2 cards we want out of our deck once one of our Mews knocked out. They've only got 50 HP, so they get knocked out all the time. 4 Juniper, just aggressive draw to make sure we're churning through our deck. 4 copies of Trainer's Mail really helps you hit those stadiums early. 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Quick Ball. Like I said, this is just a turboed out deck. I really like having the Resetting Hole Marshadow in here as well, just in case your opponent starts with a Silent Lab or something like that. The Resetting Hole Marshadow, really powerful for removing that Silent Lab so that we can kind of just kick off our turn and get started. It's also really good for removing Chaotic Swells. We don't like Chaotic Swells. That's why we've got 1 Field Blower and 1 Marshadow in the deck specifically for removing Chaotic Swells. And then the Great Catcher, that's just a good card. It's just a great card. Even though it's a snipe deck, using Great Catcher is still just very good. Great Catcher is good for bringing up Mewtwo and Mew, Tag Team GXs, other GXs, things like that, just into the active position in case you want to hit them with a Jumping Balloon. It's a very powerful card, especially in combination with that Target Whistle. So that's the Cramorant V Mew deck. It's a busted deck, and it's a ton of fun to play. Big shout out again to Frank Persick for piloting this deck to a top 16 finish at the Collinsville Regional Championships. I really like what we've done with the list here, revamped it, and hopefully you guys enjoy the gameplay ahead. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comments below. Looks like we're going to be able to choose to go second here. We open a pretty good hand. We've got Mew, Ultra Balls, and Twin Energy with a Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff. And I love playing this card in the deck. There are just so many different opportunities where you can cheese your opponent. Maybe if they have just the right amount of Pokemon EX and GX in play, you can Target Whistle up, maybe a Shaman or something like that, out of the discard pile and push your opponent over the edge for Jumping Balloon. And of course, that Mew being able to copy Jumping Balloon for just a DCE or a Twin Energy is really good as well. Looks like we're playing against a Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team deck. Now, we do have a copy of Great Catcher in the deck, so it is possible that we're going to be able to bring that Mewtwo up into the active. Sure enough, here it is. So we are just going to Great Catcher. I think that I want to, we're just looking for the D Valley, honestly. So I can just go get myself Cramorant. Honestly, Jumping Balloon is doing a lot. I mean, it's doing 180 damage, and we don't have to discard. So I think that that is going to be our go-to attack here. So we're just going to put the Twin Energy down, commit that, and then we just have to Great Catcher and hope that we find ourselves the stadium that we need off of this Juniper. Now, we do have Shamans. We've got a bunch of resources to be able to dig for that stadium. Looks like we found ourselves Ultra Ball and Quick Ball. Ultra Ball's good, so we can thin out this hand a little bit, get rid of the Guzma, probably the Guzma and Hala, put those into the discard pile, and we just put the Marshadow down too. And I really like this. Yeah, put the Marshadow down, then we're going to go here, get rid of those, and just start setting up and hoping to find some more cards here. So we could get ourselves a second Mew. That's fine. We play Scoop Up Nets as well. I haven't seen a Scoop Up Net yet, but we could always Dowsing for the Trainer's Mail if we really need to dig. So we'll put this down. And then we're just going to go. We got 2 Shaman Scoop Up Nets in the deck. Plenty of opportunities to be able to find the cards that we need. Looks like we are not there yet. That's okay. We've got plenty of energy in the deck, so I have no problems getting rid of that special charge. We just quick ball for something, and then or dowsing machine for an ultra ball the entire hand away, and just go like that. So that doesn't bother me. Actually, we're gonna get for Trainer's Mail. Trainer's Mail seems stronger, and then I'm gonna quick ball away that, and we don't need to get another Shaman. We're just going to fail it and Trainer's Mail, see if we find the stadium. We don't, but we got a Scoop Up Net, and we can just see how powerful this Shaman Scoop Up Net engine is, with the ability to just forcibly find the cards that we want on the first turn of the game. Absolutely insane. We just Jumping Balloon for knockout on that Mewtwo and Mew. Just brought it up into the active position with Great Catcher, going second. Huge one-hit KO. My opponent only had 2 Pokemon GX in play, but Mew just absolutely amazing against that Mewtwo and Mew, which is hilarious. It's got 270 hit points. It's Tag Team Pokemon GX. The Mew from Fates Collide just got 50 HP. That Memories of Dawn attack in combination with Dimension Valley, making it so the attacks like Jumping Balloon are accessible for just 1 energy drop, which is amazing. Now, we do have Target Whistle in the deck, so if my opponent tries to not bench another Mewtwo and Mew, I could just bring one up from the discard pile and continue just slugging away, which is awesome. We've got Scoop Up Nets and Quick Balls as well. I feel like every deck in Expanded that can utilize this Shaman engine with the Scoop Up Nets, absolutely amazing. We just saw how much dig we had on that first turn. We churned through almost half of our deck to dig for the cards that we wanted to find. You know, that stadium was eluding us there for a little while, but so powerful being able to dig for that and find it on that first turn. Now it looks like my opponent just has to attack with the Indeedee. One of the other things I really love about the Mega Lopunny is we get to keep our energy as well. So if my opponent decides they want to knock out a Shaman or something like that, then that means I get to keep my energy as I'm attacking with Mega Lopunny. So at this point, we do want to make room probably for another attacker, because let's see, that thing's weak to Dark. This thing is weak to Psychic. And my opponent's only got 1 EX out, so we're not doing a ton of damage there. Now, let's see what supporters we got in the discard pile. We do have Guzma, so that's very good. I think we're just going to Verse Seeker for the Guzma, and I can just bring up that Latios. Also, just want to check real quick, see if we find the Target Whistle. If we find the Target Whistle, then we just win the game. So I am going to dig for that a little bit and see if the Target Whistle is in the deck. It is. So we are going to kind of just go through these motions real quick. I'm going to get us another Shaman as well. We can bop our own stadium with a Resetting Hole Marshadow, and then we're just going to put another Dimension Valley into play. And we are going to set up a little bit. I mean, Trainer's Mail first, see if we find it. We got a Floatstone. It's a nice burnable card there. We definitely don't mind that. And then we're going to set up, just waiting to see if we can find the Target Whistle to just win this game on the Mewtwo and Mew. We've got Scoop Up Nets, so we can dig a little bit further, but it's looking like we probably are just going to have to be okay with the, unless I find it off these 2 cards, be okay with just the 2 prize knockout on the Latios, which is totally fine. Yeah, sure enough, I'm not going to waste my last Scoop Up Net here just for that, so we are going to bring that up, cure myself of that poison as well, and then we can just Jumping Balloon for knockout on the Latios, which is great because we're still dealing, you know, base 120 damage, and because of the weakness, we're going to hit that, you know, we're going to hit that 240 for the Latios GX, taking that thing right out of the equation. Just 1 prize remaining. My opponent has to go up with Indeedee. They're going to be able to Psychic for knockout, but we're going to see if we can pull off some sort of crazy play here. They've got, let's see, Latios. Actually, with the way that we've constructed this deck, I could maybe, if I can find the Target Whistle, we could go in with, got Rescue Stretcher. Okay, let's take a look. We could Target Whistle up one of those and then Cramorant it for game, which is certainly something possible. We could also, just kind of going through my options here, there's nothing worth Rescue Stretching. That's totally fine. I think the Cramorant seems good. We probably want to scoop up these guys, and then my hand is just jammed at this point, so there's not really any point in Let's see, do I have one scoop up net left? I'm pretty sure this is it. Yeah, these are my final 2 scoop ups. And setup won't actually do anything here, so we kind of just have to Juniper this hand. So we can just scoop up literally all of the Shamans, which is kind of crazy. Just bring those all to my hand. And then we are just going to put the Cramorant down and Juniper, which is awesome. Even though, I might not win this turn, there's no Shamans or anything for me to prey on over there. We certainly do have a lot going on here. We actually do win this turn because I'm able to target whistle, and this is kind of play that I was hoping for here. We get to bring up the Mewtwo, and check this out. We've got the Galarian Zigzagoon in the deck. We just go get that thing, ping for 10, and now we're dealing 170 damage. Sniped that Mewtwo with a 10 there, and we get Spit Shot 160, close the game out. Absolutely ridiculous deck. I love the Scoop Up Net engine with this Mew box deck. It's insane. We're going to get to go second this game, which is awesome. This opening hand is fantastic. We've got Mew and Marshadow, so even if my opponent sticks a Silent Lab or something like that, turn 1, I really love having the Marshadow in this particular deck since we really rely on having Mew's abilities. Silent Lab, definitely not something that we love to see. So starting the Marshadow is certainly great. Looks like my opponent's got that Comfey here. Could be a Garchomp and Giratina list that we are up against, or it could be a Regirock Stall Troll deck, which is totally fine either way. Because I think that I can snipe that thing, and I'm, they probably play a Mr. Mime or something, but we're gonna certainly try to just be as annoying as possible. So I think here N seems better because I don't want to have to get rid of all of my resources. So we're really just hoping that we find ourselves Dimension Valley Cramorant, and we do. So I'm going to take out that Regirock turn 1, and that's the whole deal with the Regirock, is that you can't snipe it, right? Or you can't gust it up. It's got this trait which says whenever your opponent plays a trainer card, excluding tools and stadiums, prevent the effects of that card done to this Pokemon. So we really love the fact that we hit all of this, and we're just going to be able to Spit Shot, that Regirock. Just take that thing right on out of the equation, which is amazing. The Comfey is still here, so I don't win, but we're certainly in a very powerful spot. We're thinking that my opponent is probably not going to give us a ton of options in this match. I mean, they're just going to go Ninja Boy this thing. I have no idea what they're going to be Ninja Boying into. This is the kind of dance and shenanigans that these, Robo Sub decks end up doing, is that they Ninja Boy into various Pokemon for various situations, whatever best fits the scenario that they're in. They're going to Ninja Boy into that. So they probably want to get themselves a Pokemon. It's got more HP than 70 so that they don't lose the game. And they did lose the game. That's it. They scoop. So on to the next one. Looks like we're going to be able to go second again. This opening hand is awesome. We've got the Mew and the Galarian Zigzagoon with Juniper. We have to get rid of the special charge, but that's okay. We play like a bunch of energy in this deck, 6 special energy, so it's usually fine to be able to take the win. And we're playing against a Mewtwo and Mew deck again, so really excited about this because Mewtwo and Mew is just fantastic for us. Unfortunately, they've got the Jirachi GX, which prevents their weakness. However, Jirachi GX has a very convenient 160 HP, which means it'll be very easy for us to just ping this thing with a Spit Shot, knock it out, and then be able to knock out Mewtwo's for the rest of the game. Now, we don't have any sorts of, unfortunately, we do not have any sort. So we're going to ping the Latios, so that's kind of in our range either. We don't have Stadium, we don't have our energy yet. So I could Shaman a little bit here, or I think we're just going to get Cramorant. Just the one Cramorant in the deck, it's fine. We'll put the Floatstone on it. I like that. It's not really time to dig yet, and I don't really need to use that Field Blower. We're just going to go. And now is the time to dig. We have got the energy. Now we just need that Stadium. So we can get rid of the Necrozma GX and that Guzma and Hala. That's totally fine. Save ourselves with another Ultra Ball so that I know that I'm guaranteed to be able to set up multiple times. And we don't have to grab anything there because I know that I have the Ultra Ball, so we can get ourselves another Shaman if we need it. Sure enough, there's the D-Valley, and we've got the turn 1. I don't need to bench anything else. We just have that turn 1 Spit Shot on the Jirachi GX, which is just amazing. Yeah, so we're going to do that. Take out the Jirachi. Now we should just be free to knock out Mewtwo and Mew, taking advantage of that weakness there. Found another Dimension Valley off the prize. We're going to see what it is that my opponent is playing over here. But I have to say, against Mewtwo and Mew decks, we're definitely very favored. It's a awesome matchup for sure. Being able to hit for weakness, one energy to one hit KO Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX is just amazing. Taking 3 prizes is such an easy board state to set up as well with the Shaymins and the Scoops. So it looks like they're going to go for Viridian. See if they can find themselves an energy. They're getting that Turbo Strike Solgaleo GX into the discard pile. Find themselves another Psychic Energy. They can maybe use Turbo Strike to power up their Latios GX, but at this point, you've got to ask yourself, is that going to be enough to kind of ward off the Mews here? All I need is one more double colorless energy, and we'll be able to take a knockout on this Mewtwo and Mew, which is fantastic. We've got plenty of draw outs in our hand to be able to do that. So let's promote this Mew here. And we've got Stealthy Hood, Viridian. Yup, looking strong. So we don't have to Rescue Stretcher anything. I'm just kind of weighing out the rest of the hand here. We can put the Stealthy Hood down, get that out of the hand. I can put the Dimension Valley down because I know I'm going to want that. I'm going to put this, probably get rid of, see, the Rescue Stretcher is really good. We could just get rid of these. That's fine. Get ourselves another Shaymin. And then use Trainer's Mail. See if we find like a Verse Seeker or something like that. Scoop Up Net's really good too. So we can go there. And we're just looking for a Versus Seeker to be able to I'm going to get the Quick Ball. The Quick Ball seems stronger because I'm going to be thinning my hand out. So I'm going to shuffle 3 since it's my only Rescue Stretcher. I want to put these guys back into the deck, which just seems really good. We could put the Cramorant back too, because I just don't have that many of, you know, the Mews. I mean, we only got so many of those. So we're just going to draw 4 here, looking for the Verse Seeker. Again, we got the Verse Seeker, so that's guaranteed knockout with the Guzma and Hollow, which is in our discard pile. So we're just going to go get that thing and force ourselves to find that special energy. And this is one of my favorite decks to utilize Guzma and Hala in, just because it gets you everything that you want. This is all you want. You just want the energy, and you want that stadium card every single time, and it just gives it to you. So we're going to scoop up here and just draw a little bit more. That's going to give us the option to Quick Ball here without getting rid of something that we don't want to. Get ourselves a backup Mew just in case this Mew gets knocked out. And then we've got game on board, so we're just going to go there, Spit Shot the active, knock it out for 320 damage with weakness for just 1 energy, which is insane. Sure enough, we find the Mega Lopunny, one of our best finishers in a matchup like this, especially since there just are tons of GX Pokemon in these Mewtwo and Mew decks, and we can really boost up our damage very quickly with that Mega Lopunny. But I suspect here that we've just got game locked on board. There's Latios GX with that 10 damage from the Galarian Zigzagoon. We're just going to be wrapping it up here in a matter of moments because we've kind of checkmated my opponent, unless there's something crazy that they can whip up. These Mews from Fates Collide just absolutely taking it to town here, which is awesome. This is one of my favorite cards ever printed too. I played this card in Night March for the longest time, and it's really good because it can copy Joltik's Night March as well. So you can use it in the Night March deck kind of as an additional Night Marcher. You can use it in this deck, you know, with the Dimension Valley. It's just so powerful combined with that Dimension Valley to be able to copy various attacks from your board state. Now, the only difference between, you know, Mewtwo and Mew and the Mew is Mewtwo and Mew can copy the attacks of Pokemon out of your discard pile, which is obviously extremely strong. Having to set up your board state with the various Pokemon that you're going to copy using the Mew is a little bit more difficult because you have to take into consideration, you know, what your board state looks like. You can't use Battle Compressor to just send the Pokemon that you want to copy to your discard pile. You have to, you have to really take into consideration what your board state looks like when you're trying to concoct your win condition. But I have to say, the Cramorant Mew deck is very fun, and I really love this new version of it that we got. We are going to get N to 1 classic scenario here. So we are going to have to find ourselves an energy to be able to dig out of this. Perfect end one. We've got a Versus Seeker. You could play the Oranguru in this deck, and I'm not against that. I think playing the Oranguru would probably be smart. We could jam that in here. So if you saw the Oranguru in the deck list that I am showing off in the beginning of this video, it means that I played these games, and then I figured out that we should probably put the Oranguru in the deck. But anyways, I mean, the core of the deck is obviously very, very potent here, as we're seeing that we are just setting up extremely consistently and getting absolutely everything that we need every turn, starting turn one, which is awesome, right? It's just such an aggressive deck. Having that access to the opponent's bench with Spit Shot is just certainly not to be underestimated with how popular Shaman EX is, Dedenne GX, all these support Pokemon. This deck just really preys on taking advantage of those support Pokemon and turning them against your opponents. So let's see here. We've got the Versus Seeker. I can't go get Guzma and Hala because I don't have enough cards in my hand. So we're just going to go Juniper here and dig 7 cards deeper into our deck, looking for that Twin Energy, double colorless. That will end the game. Sure enough, we've got it. So that is it. Spit Shot on the active. We need the Dimension Valley as well. So we're going to go here, Trainer's Mail. And we've got ourselves a bunch of Scoop Up Nets. So that's fine. And we've got Great Catcher. To be honest, Great Catcher is going to allow us to thin our deck even more. So we'd love to see that. We will definitely just bring up this Latios. Since we only have 1 prize remaining, it doesn't really matter. We're going to go here. Junipers, none of those matter. We're just going to Scoop Up Net and dig even further. So set up for 5. We can just see how crazy the Shaman Scoop Up Net engine is. I mean, I feel like I say it over and over and over again, but it is just one of the most insane engines that we have ever seen in the history of the Pokemon trading card game. So I think I want to get rid of that Teammates. It's fine. We're going to get rid of that, and then I get to scoop up, draw 2 more cards. We could whiff it here. And see, maybe I counted my chickens before they hatched. We did not. All right, we've got the Dowsing Machine. We're going to Dowsing Machine, go get ourselves the Stadium. And that is game on the Latios GX. Copying that Spit Shot there with the Dimension Valley. And there we go. Taking that knockout and the game busted deck. End of 1. Perfect draws. Looks like we're going to be going first in this match, but our opening hand is awesome. So that's totally fine with me. And I'm actually kind of just going to chill here. I can quick ball away the Guzma, and it looks like we're playing against Night March. So this is really exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this matchup ends up buffing out for us. We really just want to have a nice consistent game here where we potentially just sky return these Joltics, which I think will be really cool for us. We don't want to have to put down any sort of liabilities. We don't want to have to put down the Shamans. Both of these decks here are going to be utilizing the Shaman and Scoop Up Net combo. So we're just going to try and take advantage of the fact that my opponent is going to be playing those Shaman EXs, and we're going to try to knock them out every turn. That's just what we're going to do. So I think that here, especially if they play down more than 1 Shaman, it looks like they're not going to. I was going to say, if they put down more than 1 Shaman, we could do the crazy Black Ray play to end up winning the game. And I think in this situation here, potentially just knocking out the Joltik will be stronger for us. So I have to think about how I want to negotiate this here. Do I just Teammates for a couple of the cards that we need, or we just Juniper through? I think that, I don't want to put the Ultra or the Necrozma down yet. I could just get Teammates for Shaman for Ultra Ball and DCE. I kind of like that. So we're going to go here, and we're going to get Ultra Ball. And the Ultra Ball is really cool because we could just Sky Return this thing, right? So we're going to get these 2 cards, and we can Ultra Ball away. I probably will not need that Mega Lopunny at all, so we're going to get rid of that. And we're going to grab ourselves Shaman. And we could do this cool play where we just set up a couple of times, right? I'm going to be able to set up for 2, dig a little bit deeper into the deck. Got Dimension Valley, that's fine. I can Scoop Up Net, set up again if I want to. I mean, ultimately, we would have to end up putting this Ultra Necrozma down, or this Necrozma, which I don't necessarily want to do. But it is an option available to us. Could Sky Return with the Mew. Don't want to have to do that. So we're going to put this Dimension Valley into play. And we're going to Scoop Up Net the Shaman and just draw 2 more cards. Ideally, I would find another Quick Ball or a Pokemon, something like that. And we don't find it. So it's a little bit unfortunate. We are going to have to put this Necrozma down so that we don't get benched. And we cannot afford to use our Black Ray GX yet, so we're kind of revealing our hand here, but that's okay. We're just going to go there, retreat into the Shaman, and potentially put my opponent in a weird situation where maybe they are unable to get the Shaman out of the active position in order to Night March again next turn. We definitely got a jammed hand, but that's okay. We do play a couple of float stones, so we're going to have options to pivot out of this Necrozma GX here, and also if my opponent puts down 2 Shamans, I mean, we just have this crazy Black Ray GX play lined up, which I would love to pull off with the Galarian Zigzagoon, being able to ping 2 Shamans, Black Ray GX for just 1 energy, doing 100 damage to all Pokemon EX and GX. This is the play that we dream of pulling off with this deck, and it's pretty easy to do. You just wait for your opponent to put those 2 Shamans down, and then that play becomes a reality. Now, it looks like they got Joltik. They teammates this turn. They're going to be able to Battle Compressor, putting more of their Night Marchers into the discard pile. And so long as they have a switch out, they're going to be able to get the Shaman out of the active. And I assume that that's probably going to be the case. Now, my hope is that they have to maybe use Setup. Shaman. Yes. They're going to scoop up. That's fine. So, yes, they're using Setup here. And they shouldn't need to draw anything else. They just have that 1 Shaman over there, and that's it. So they're doing pretty good just setting up and kind of going toe-to-toe with just the 1 Shaman over there. And I do have to kind of act quickly and take a knockout on that Shaman before my opponent decides to scoop it up and maybe not give it to me again. At this point, I do have the Necrozma GX here. So that is, something to think about. And there are no other, Shamans in that discard pile over there, so that is not an option for us. We do have the Great Catcher this turn, so that's something. And it looks like this turn's probably going to be an Ultra Ball away. Yeah, these guys. It's going to be one of those turns. We're going to Ultra Ball away 2 energy, unfortunately, and are going to have to get ourselves a Mew. We still got the Dimension Valley in play, and let's just see how many of those Float Stones. We got 2 Float Stones in the deck, which is totally cool. So we can go here, put the energy down. Trainer's Mail, nothing, and then we can either, I think we just Juniper and say I don't want to give my opponent that Shaman if I can at all help it, but we are running the risk of not hitting the Float Stone. Sure enough, we've got the Float Stone and the Ultra Ball, so I'm going to be able to spit shot that Shaman over there this turn, which is really big for us. We certainly love to do that, so that's really important. And then we are trying to just draw without using Quick Ball is ideal there. That's very good. We are trying to draw without using Shamans. So it is kind of tough because we have a lot that we have to stream, back-to-back turns. So Quick Ball, we can get rid of this. Go get ourselves that Cramorant, which we want. And we're going to put the Cramorant down. Now, Cramorant is weak to Lightning, having these, Pokemon V on the bench. So it can't be Great Catcher. That's nice. Now, there's nothing here that I think is worthy of Ultra Balling away. We definitely want to keep that. But if I could Trainer's Mail to another Quick Ball, that'd be good. We got an N. That's probably fine. As long as my opponent doesn't Field Blower me, that's okay. And if my opponent does take out my Necrozma GX, then I will just end them. So we are going to spit shot that Shaman over there. Take that out. Leaves my opponent's Joltik, which is a little bit troubling. And maybe they could set up a play where they pull off, the Gust on my Necrozma GX. But these 2 decks are definitely going to go back and forth for sure. I imagine this turn that they're going to try and set up multiple Joltiks. Now, something that we do have going for us is that I play the Galarian Zigzagoon and Scoop Up Nets. So all I need to do is Scoop Up Net twice, and I can take a double knockout, knock out the active, and knock out the bench. And we can Sky Return as well. So I think that might be the play that we dig for here, especially if my opponent leaves a board state where they just have 2 Joltiks, and they do. So I think this is the play we're going to go for. We really just want to hit that, that crazy play where I Scoop Up Net twice, and we Sky Return the active, and we just win the game. Now, we also do have that Shaman EX in the discard pile, so if I don't pull it off, then it's cool. I can still Target Whistle and bring that up for game, and we are favored here if that is the scenario. So first of all, we're going to get rid of the Dimension Valley and get ourselves, I think, that Zigzagoon. And then all I need to do is Ultra Ball and get Shaman. And then we're going to Shaman. And we're going to keep using that until potentially we get to Sky Return. So that's going to be our attacker for the turn. So we're going to go here. Get rid of Juniper and N. Get ourselves Shaman. And then we're going to go Stealthy Hood onto that. And now we're setting up for 5. Saying, okay, I'm just looking for Scoop Up Nets. And potentially a Draw Sport. Dowsing Machine is insanely good right there. So we've got it. Actually, this is it. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking that I needed. Yeah, we just got it. It's literally game. We just go ping, ping, and Sky Return. That's it. So that's insane. I mean, this is like what this deck can do. Look at that. Taking multiple knockouts. Literally just benching my opponent. And taking advantage of that Galarian Zigzagoon with a Sky Return action here to take the game. And that's it. GG's against Night March. Wow. I mean, that was pretty nuts. And that's it for the Cramorant V Mew deck. Let me know what you think of the deck in the comments below. Make sure to check out FullGripGames.com for all your trading card game singles, as well as FullGripCodes.com for instant PTCGO code delivery. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Thank you all so much for supporting the store at Full Grip Games. Supporting the shop directly supports the content we create here on Tricky Jim. Also, if you got extra cards lying around the house and you're trying to get some extra cash, make sure to check out Full Grip Games buy list. We've got the link to that in the description below. Full Grip Games is always buying cards, and since we can't go to events right now, it makes a huge difference with those buy lists as far as keeping the shop in operation. So thank you guys all so much for that. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell, and of course, check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/TrickyJim, where I stream live Pokemon trading card game content every single weekday. Y'all take it easy and have a great day. Peace.